Hey guys, happy what is today? It's Thursday, right? Happy Thursday the 27th, I'm thinking it is. Hold on, I gotta check. I'm sorry, guys. A bunch of things I want to talk about today with you, if I could, and just share with you. Um, First of all, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. Um, Most of you know that are following me. I've been working some kind of crazy hours. I'm at the office right now. It's about 10 after 6. I've been here since 4:30 this morning. But yesterday, coming off of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, um, volume was a little bit slow for us, and it dawned on me late last night, uh, lying in bed, tossing and turning, not really sleeping. I kind of went stagnant with writing the book because I've been kind of burned out, long hours and things like that. But last night, volume was a little bit light. I got home, reasonably early. I was feeling pretty good, and for whatever reason, it didn't dawn on me to get the computer out and start banging away, and I got to get back in that mojo. So I'm a little disappointed in myself, and I apologize to you guys for that because it was an opportunity to, put a couple of hours in there that I lost out on. So, um, but that's nothing I can do about that now. So, a few things I wanted to talk about today. There were a couple of really neat stories I saw in the news. I don't know if you guys did or not, but one, certainly I wish I had the funds to do this, but there was a dad who was taking a flight. I think it was from Florida to middle of the country, Michigan, Wisconsin, something like that. And he was sitting next to a younger guy and just started having a conversation with him, and said, "Where you going? Where you heading? Going to see family?" And he basically said, "No, I'm on this flight because of my family. My daughter's a flight attendant, and I didn't want her to be alone on Christmas Eve and Christmas." So he hopped basically like 6 flights to spend time with his daughter, which I thought was just the coolest concept and coolest thought and coolest thing a dad could do. I don't know how much he crammed her work, and I think, I'm sure he seemed to be a pretty cool guy that just having him on the flight had to bring some comfort to her, and what a great gesture that was. And then just today I heard about a guy, um, and people don't keep asking me because it's less and less brought up, but people that ask me about the journey often ask me, how my life has changed since I've been back, and it's weird. Every day has changed, is different now. If nothing else, then I've always been one that one little trigger can send me off in 95 different thoughts and reliving moments, and that's what the journey's done. And I read a story today about a gentleman that a few days before Christmas had hatched this idea. I believe it was in Florida that he went down and kind of posed as a homeless person, somebody in need. And for those people that would approach him to help him, he in turn turned around and handed him $100 bill, and as a way of saying thank you. And it kind of goes back to that Beauty and the Beast story. The prince knocks and turned away the old haggard witch, and really she was a beautiful princess underneath. But one of the things that I'm grateful for is people, really carried me through. I couldn't have done anything I did without, I would have been 4 days into it and turned around and come home had people not reached out to help me. And I understand why some folks don't. I understand why there were long days out there where cars just drove by, and some really lovely days for me where I just was praying somebody would at least, say, "Are you okay? Can I get you a water or something?" But at the same time, there's so many great people out there, and I thought this was really a cool kind of social experiment that he did, and that's kind of a really cool story. And then something came up today in the last 24 hours that really has me bothered a little bit. It's really disappointing, kind of where society's going in some ways, and maybe it's because I'm just old now. Maybe it's just because I grew up thinking about everybody but me first. Um, but it just seems to me to be just a lack of courtesy and respect. And this happened kind of on my job, but the trigger was on the journey, and it was really fascinating to see. And you wonder why sometimes people don't get involved with things, why people don't speak up, because you have things escalate so quickly On the journey, there was a situation where a parking spot in Florida where a man got shot and killed. There was somebody robbed a Walmart and was getting caught and shot and killed somebody. There was so many of those thoughts. But what happened in the last 24 hours, of what I observed of people around me here, is social media and these handheld computers that we have that we call phones, but are essentially computers that we can talk on. I've got guys that they take their phones out in public. I'm working at a professional office, and they blast videos as loud as they possibly can, 6 inches from their face. And I don't know if they're doing it all because I've got 6 guys out there all trying to drown each other out. Yesterday morning, I went up to one of the gentlemen and said, "Hey, would you mind just turning that down a little bit?" Instead of just simply saying, "Yeah, no problem," which is what I would have expected. I didn't ask rudely. I got, "Why are you always on my case? Why you gotta da 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 da," like this, back and forth, me and him. And it had happened again tonight, and I just sit here shaking my head because it's just what the younger generation does these days. And I saw that on the journey. I remember one time I was sitting in a public place, and there was this woman sitting there. It might have been a McDonald's. Actually, I do remember where, but that's irrelevant. But her boyfriend went up to smoke a cigarette, and she's sitting there with her phone out, blasting a rap song with vulgarities and racial, slurs in it. Look, I'm not judging her. You listen to what you want to listen to. If it turns you on, that's cool. But the people in the 20 feet perimeter don't need to hear that. But yet nobody said a word to this person because you can't. And one of my favorite phrases, other than point the thumb and not the finger, is you can't have a logical conversation with an illogical person. And really, that's where my observation is. I think so many young people have such a delusion about what respect and courtesy is, like there's this entitlement. And that was one of 3 examples that I had on the journey as I'm sitting here waiting for my last truck to get back, where I saw situations like that, where people just have no regard for anybody else. And I almost think sometimes, I really do think that people are baiting folks, that there's just people that either like to stick it to you, that are angry, that want you to confront them and say something to them so they can just go off. And like I said, had somebody walked up to this young, the one I'm thinking of in particular, because I remember all the racial slurs and the vulgarities, and said, "Excuse me, would you mind, lowering that or putting in some earbuds or something?" I can almost guarantee you the response would have been, "Oh, I apologize, no problem," And then, as I said, in my own work environment, I see it with some of, not employees, but some of the folks that I have relationships with, and it's just puzzling to me that first of all, it's deemed to be socially acceptable by the young people that I'm listening to it, so everyone's going to listen to it. And then, as I said, the inability for folks to even be able to go and approach them and say something, because it just, those same people that have that little regard and respect for others around them don't have any respect or the ability to point the thumb and go, "Yeah, okay, you're right, I apologize." I mean, I'm sure some do, but as I said, I went to somebody, I'm looking out my office, 50 feet away, it sounded like, I know it wasn't this, but it sounded as almost somebody was being raped at, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I said, "Well, listen, could you lower that a little bit?" That's all. And, you would think that I don't know what they think. It's absurd. And as I said, I've seen that, and it just triggered. As I saw it again tonight, this is less than 24 hours after that, I watched 2 other gentlemen doing the same exact thing. And I just, because what more can I do? You approach them and then you're the bad guy because they start talking, and then, as I said, that's what happens out on the road. And you wonder why people kind of give up or just go, "Man, it just isn't worth it." But what has happened to our society that has become the entitlement and the accepted norm? I don't know. So I don't want to bore you guys anymore with it. It's just an observation. I don't know how many of you see it on a day-to-day basis, but as I said, there were 2 other circumstances like that on the journey particularly. In fact, one was where somebody did speak up and virtually got assailed because of it, and it's just bizarre. But hey, I guess maybe I'm just old and not with it, not hip. I guess I don't know. Anyway, guys, I love you. Have a great day. Get ready for the new year. The book is coming. Thank you to Stephanie that reached out to me today and spoke with me a little bit. I haven't talked with her. She's somebody I met in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and one day I was staying at a motel over there in a really seedy section of town, and she got really upset about that. I'm coming to get you right now. And I said, I'll be okay. I'm already here. Don't worry about it. We'll stick with our plans for tomorrow. And she sent me a clipping of somebody that got killed in the general area where I was. So see, that's why I was worried about you. But it's glad that I'm in her thoughts, and we're still in touch. And it's one more great memory from the journey. So, guys, thanks for hanging in there with me. I appreciate it. Love you. Have a great day. All right? Take care, gang.